Hi, I'm Mike Yawn, a solutions architect with Hazelcast, coming to you from Hazelcast Studios with the first installment of our new series, HazelVision. Picture, if you will, a web series that gives you useful technical information in about 5 minutes. In this first installment, we'll show you how to get started with Hazelcast in your development environment.
The steps I'm following come straight out of the Quick Start section of the manual found at docs.hazelcast.com. We've got instructions here for several package managers. I'm using Homebrew for this demo. I'll start by tapping the appropriate repo, which is hazelcast/hz. Then I'll type brew install Hazelcast to install the latest version of IMDG. I could install a different version by adding the version tag to the end of this command. Because I've previously downloaded this version, this goes by quickly. If it's your first time, it may take a minute or so. This downloads Hazelcast IMDG, the command line interface, and the management center, along with any prerequisites you may need, such as the latest Java JDK. When installed, I can use the CLI with the -V option to check the versions of each component we've installed. After installation, we can start a Hazelcast member or node simply by typing HZ start. If we had any customized configuration for our cluster, we could add a -C parameter and the path to the config file, but for now we'll just use the defaults. Now we see that our member has started and it has output its member list. A single node cluster isn't very interesting, so let's start 2 more nodes. You'll notice that as our other members are started, they automatically find each other and form a cluster. Each of the 3 member nodes will output its member list whenever the cluster membership changes. Now we'll start up Hazelcast Management Center using the command hzmcstart. And then once it's running, we can switch to our browser and see the Management Center. In Management Center, we can see details for the cluster we just started. It has 3 member nodes, as we'd expect. Because there's no data in the cluster initially, there's not much to see. The maps counter is 0. If we go back into the docs, we'll find that there's a simple client program that we can use to add data to our cluster. Versions of this sample code are provided in several different languages. I'm going to use Java. Here's that sample code cut and pasted into an IDE. The original code just added 3 records to a map, which seemed a little weak, so I added a loop so that we'll add 30,000 records. I've added the hazelcast.all jar file to my class path, and I'm ready to run. In the output, we see that our client started, connected to the cluster, did some work, and then disconnects.
We can go back into Management Center and drill down into the Maps view and see that we now have a map called My Distributed Map, and it has 30,000 entries as we would expect. I can switch to the SQL browser view and use standard SQL to query the map, and we can see the first page of entries here. And now it's time for Cluster Facts, a quick recap of what we learned. Hazelcast can be easily installed using popular package managers. Starting a Hazelcast member is as easy as typing HZ start. When you start multiple nodes, they'll automatically find a cluster. This is great for getting a development cluster up and running quickly. You might want something less promiscuous in your production setup, so discovery behavior is configurable. Hazelcast maps follow the standard Java map API, so it's as easy as writing to a hash map. We can read data using those same standard Java APIs, or, beginning with IMDG 4.1, standard SQL. I hope you found this useful. Look for further installments where we'll continue to explore various technical topics related to in-memory computing and stream processing. I'm Mike at hazelcast.com. Feel free to drop me a note with feedback on this video or ideas for topics you'd like to see covered in future episodes of HazelVision.